So you've downloaded and printed out your PDF sewing patterns. But how do you put them together? And what do you do with all those pattern pieces and how do you organize them? I'm Jan Howell from YouMakeItSimple.com, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to assemble and some tips on how to organize your PDF sewing patterns. In a previous tutorial, I showed you how to download and print your patterns. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you do. Let's begin with how to assemble your patterns. Now, I know there's a lot of different varieties of patterns out there, a lot of different designers, but I'll show you some basic tips. They're usually pretty much the same deal. Some will have different characteristics on their patterns and different tips, but you'll find that they're very similar. So hopefully these tips that I share will be universal and there'll be some tips that you can use on all kinds of patterns. First off, let's go over some of the items that will come in handy or that will be useful while putting your pattern together. A pair of paper scissors, an X-Acto knife if you have one, not necessary, a glue stick or some kind of glue, Scotch tape or masking tape, and some kind of straight edge or ruler. Once you have printed out your pattern, now you can print out patterns in black and white, or if you have a color printer and don't mind using the ink, you can print it in color. In my particular patterns, I do have different colors to indicate the different sizes, so that comes in handy. Not always necessary, you can tell the different shades, but the color is helpful. Once again, I'll remind you that most patterns will have a size indicator or some kind of scale test for you to either measure a square or something on the pattern to make sure that it's printing at 100%. So just some tips about looking over your pattern. I like to look over the pattern before I start my project just to make sure there aren't any special instructions or cutting instructions. Most patterns will have size indicators on them, and they may have some guides for stretch of the fabric maybe, or for how to lay out the pattern. Let's go over how to assemble the pattern. So on the second page of this particular pattern, I have a guide of how the pages and what it will look like. So page 1, page 2, page 3, and how they'll be assembled. That's really helpful. Not all patterns will have that. Some do and some don't. So I will find the actual pattern pieces. I'll set the instructions aside. And by this guide, I'm going to lay out those sheets. So that's how they'll be assembled. And to make it easier, so as you can see, this pattern has 6 pages. And to glue them to, when a pattern prints, it will not print to the very edge. So as you can see, I have these blue boxes, and that is how we're going to line up. And they have corners that we'll make sure that those are aligned. So to make the taping process easier, you can either just fold on that blue line and then line it up with this line, but I find that gets kind of bulky. If you have an X-Acto knife and a ruler, I like to take and just cut off that right and bottom side on the blue line, and that will make it easier to assemble. We don't have to do it on this third piece. So on this first page, I'm just going to line up my ruler and cut along that blue line. And the bottom line. And these bottom sheets, we just need to take off that right edge. Let's tape these 3 top pages together first. Bring this edge to that blue box, line it up, Now there's no need to tape up here because we're just going to cut that off. Now to take the top to the bottom, bring that bottom edge that we've cut in alignment. So just make sure everything is lining up properly, and then you can cut out the indicated size that you want. So there you have it. Obviously this is for the largest size. What I love about PDF patterns is that you can, from this same piece, if I wanted to make a newborn size, I could cut that off still. Or I could just reprint those 6 pages and make a new size. Some things to watch for on the pattern itself are the grain line or the fabric stretch. So just as a quick example, I'll lay this piece of fabric here. This is the finished edge of the fabric when you buy it on a bolt, and up here would be the cut edge. So this grain line, we'd want to, although I'll be cutting these leggings out of a stretchy piece of fabric, which you want to make sure that you are on a knit piece of fabric, that would be on the stretch. To make sure that that grain line is placed straight, just pin that on at the top, and then measure from the top of the line over to the edge. And that is 9 3/8. I'll come down to the bottom of the line, and that needs to be scooted over just a tad, and that will make that straight. So just watch for those indicators on your pattern, and that will be helpful. A few other things to look for on your pattern is the seam allowance. What is the seam allowance? They'll usually have that indicated, and on this particular pattern, this will give you a guide for sizes and how long to cut the elastics for the different sizes. Let's go over now how to store these patterns and some tips on organizing them. So you're going to see all different kinds of ideas out there for how to store your patterns, hanging them, put them in file cabinets, all kinds of different stuff. So just use the ideas that work for you best. Now, for a long time, I was storing my patterns in these small envelopes, white envelopes, and putting them in a cute little box with a white lid and everything. But I found that it got really bulky. It was time consuming to shrink my front page down to a smaller size to put on the front page. And it just didn't work for me having that box around. So what I found works best for me is to put them in these 9 by 12 manila envelopes. And it works great. It gives me more room. I don't have to fold up the pattern as much. It's less bulky. And I just take the first page of my pattern and simply glue it on the envelope. So I have my patterns that have been pieced together, and I folded them up and put them in the envelope with the rest of the instructions. So you can either put these envelopes in a file cabinet drawer, or what I like to do is use these magazine organizers and sit them on my shelf. If I have a ton of patterns and several of these boxes filled, you can label the bottom of the boxes in different categories that you want. So let me show you what I would do with this particular pattern. As you can see, this isn't very big pattern. Some patterns can get really big and have a lot of different pieces. So the envelope is going to be 12 inches. So I'll fold that. I only need to fold it up about that much. And then I'm just going to fold that about that much. So it's less bulky. To take this front page and glue it to the front of that envelope. Just take my glue stick. I just get a scrap piece of paper. And apply glue to the edges. Notice I'm moving my paper to the left each time I apply that glue, so I'm not getting glue on the front piece. And then I just add a little bit of glue to the middle. Take the rest of the instructions, the pattern piece, and slide them in the envelope. One more thing I want to mention is to save your PDF patterns on your computer and on an off-site cloud storage or somewhere where you can find them if you need to. Most platforms like Etsy or even private websites will allow you to download and print as many times as you want. So you can go back to that place where you purchased the pattern and download again if you needed to. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that inspires you to go through your patterns that you already have, organize them, get them organized so it's not so overwhelming when you want to get into your patterns and remake something that you've already sewn. Thanks for watching. Be sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click on that bell so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. We'll see you next time.